In this video, I'm gonna be taking a look at I Hate This Place. This is a top-down survival horror game with a really striking comic book art style and a strong 80s horror vibe. This one is inspired by the graphic novel of the same name, and the pitch is pretty clear. Craft-based survival, stealth-focused gameplay, enemies that hunt by sound, and a heavy day and night structure. This is not an action-heavy horror game. During the day, you're pretty much scavenging, crafting, and preparing, and at night the game flips into full survival mode, visibility drops, enemies become more aggressive, and making noise can get you killed very quickly. There is combat in this game, but it's not the focus. You're encouraged to avoid enemies, manage sound, where you step, how quickly you walk, and you have to think ahead rather than brute force your way through encounters, and I learned that the hard way. Design-wise, I think it's very tense, it's very slow and methodical, and actually has a pretty good vibe. Visually, the game is doing something really unique, or at least I haven't seen that in a while. It has a bold comic book art style that works extremely well. You have thick outlines for the characters, and there is high contrast, there is strong use of colors, there's twisted monster designs, and when you do make a noise or when something happens on screens, sometimes you get these comic book text pop-ups, which I think is really cool. Now on the Steam Deck screen, especially on the OLED, the game looks great, and it is a bit on the small side, but readability is pretty excellent, and I think the art style carries the atmosphere pretty hard. From a purely visual and artistic standpoint, this is a great looking game, at least for me. Now let's talk about the important part, the performance on Steam Deck. And I tested this across low, medium and high settings, and it's not very consistent. FPS mostly sits between 30 and 40 even on the lowest settings, but it will dip below 30 in certain environments. So this game plays heavily with lighting and shadows, and it seems those are pretty heavy. You can use upscalers like FSR or linear or point upscaling, but it doesn't seem to give that much more performance. And these drops below 30 FPS, they are pretty noticeable, especially when exploring or changing areas or you end up in combat. Now, the developer has said that there are known issues related to chunk loading and traversal, and you can definitely feel them. This is not a game where you can lock 40 FPS and forget about it, and unfortunately it's not a rock solid 30 FPS either. In terms of battery life on the OLED, you're looking at around 2 hours and 30 minutes. For an isometric indie game with stylized visuals, I don't think that's a great battery life. I think this suggests that the game is not very well optimized, and it might take some patches to fix that. I would have preferred if I had at least 3 hours with this 30 FPS. I think despite all the performance issues, the game is still very playable. Because it is slow and tension driven and not reaction heavy, 30 FPS can work for this game, but the problem is consistency. If this ran at locked 30 FPS, this would have actually been a really strong Steam Deck experience. The atmosphere, the art style and the pacing are all well suited for handheld play, but the dips below 30 really hurt immersion, especially during exploration when you're looking around and you see a drop below 30. So if I had to place this in either recommended informational or not recommended, where does this land? I would have to put this game firmly in informational for now. I can't fully recommend it, but I can't also dismiss it. I think this is a game you should know about, but maybe wait a bit more before jumping in on the Steam Deck. The game just came out and there's a 20% discount, and you can buy it for 23.99 euros on the Steam store. I think the game itself is creative, atmospheric and clearly made with a strong vision, but technically it's not there on Steam Deck yet performance-wise. For now, it's playable, but not ideal. That's gonna be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, consider leaving a like, subscribe for more Steam and Steam Deck content, and don't forget to join the Steam group and follow my Steam curator page for more performance breakdowns on Steam Deck. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.